Hey guys, Mike Frontier here, back with another retirement theory video. One of the most critical factors in planning for a successful retirement is being smart about taxes. And so today, I'm going to talk to you about being tax wise when it comes to drawing from your investments. You know, I'm I'm still floored at how much money you can keep in your own pocket just by changing what account you're pulling from and when. So, I want to show you a couple cool examples of that and give you some things to think about when you're ready to start turning on an income stream in retirement. Now, if you've ever thought about this, or maybe you've Googled it before, you've looked up what account should I draw from first in retirement, you probably find that there is a conventional wisdom kind of strategy out there, but I think it stinks.
It stinks.
So, the conventional wisdom that you'll see most often is that you'll draw from one, taxable investments first, second, tax deferred retirement accounts, and third, your Roth accounts. And to be honest, the rationale behind it isn't that bad. I mean, really, we get the least bang for our buck tax wise from those taxable accounts since we pay taxes on them every year. No tax deferral like our 401ks, IRAs, and Roths. So get those out of the way and then move on to the traditional tax deferred accounts. We, of course, leave the Roth accounts for last since we're not only deferring taxes, but we get our withdrawals tax free. So the theory is to leave those Roth accounts alone as long as possible to get the most tax free benefit. Seems to make sense. But for a lot of people, it actually just doesn't. So why doesn't conventional wisdom make sense for so many of us? Well, the biggest reason is that it is completely blind to your situations and goals. One of the most important things to pay attention to when you're drawing retirement income is where you fall within the income tax spectrum. Your current and expected future income picture can provide you with much better information versus the just conventional wisdom method. From a general strategy standpoint, what we're trying to do is draw from the accounts that will be taxed the harshest while you're at those lower tax rates, and then drawing from the accounts that will be taxed the least when you're at those higher tax rates. And to do this requires an awareness of not just where you are in that spectrum, but also where you're likely to be in the future. Let's take a look at these two tax bracket charts. Okay, the first one is federal income tax rates. Look right here. For married couples filing joint returns, if your taxable income, and that's after all your deductions, is $80,250, you're in the 12% tax rate. Once you get to that next dollar, though, your tax almost doubles to 22%. Here's this next chart on capital gains. This is what you pay on a handful of item gains and investments that you're holding more than a year in those taxable investment accounts. And look at this. Look how crazy this is. If your taxable income as a couple is under $80,000, your capital gains rate is 0%. The next rate jumps to 15%. So with those rates in mind, let's look at what might play out in a hypothetical scenario. Let's say you're 63 years old, your spouse has a part-time income, and you're taking some supplemental withdrawals off your investments. For the moment, it doesn't matter from which account. All right. And let's say with all that's coming in, you're doing great. You're comfortable. All right. But now you take a look at where you sit in that income tax spectrum, and you notice that you're in that 12% tax bracket, and you still got about $15,000 shy of that next big tax jump. When taking a look at where you fall in that income tax spectrum down the road, things look a little bit different. You and your spouse maybe have large IRA balances, and at some point you're going to have these big required minimum distributions. And remember, you also haven't claimed your Social Security benefits yet. So between those two income sources, your income is likely in the future to be well into that higher 22% tax rate. And that's if tax rates stay as low as they are right now. So instead of doing nothing, might it make sense to take advantage of your current position along that income tax spectrum and accelerate some income into this tax year? Maybe you have investments with large capital gains. You could sell and realize $15,000 in gains without paying any federal income taxes. Sell them once you're in that higher income situation, you'll be paying 15% or maybe more. Okay? Or maybe it makes sense to convert $15,000 from your traditional retirement account over to a Roth. That would allow all the future growth to be tax-free. So by doing nothing, you're allowing all that growth to be taxed in the future when you're likely to be in a rate that's nearly double what it is now. All right, how about a different example? Let's say that you have children that you want to leave assets to. You have IRA accounts and taxable investments with large capital gains embedded in them. All right, in between Social Security and your minimum IRA withdrawals, maybe you're in that 22% tax rate or 15% for capital gains. And let's say your children are fairly high income earners as well. Well, under current tax law, you receive a step up in basis on your taxable investments at your death. Now, effectively, that wipes all those gains away and nobody ever pays taxes on all those investment gains. Not to mention that since the recent passage of the Secure Act, the IRAs that are inherited by your children have to be withdrawn within 10 years, meaning that your children are likely to pay a much higher tax rate on your IRA funds than you will. But you're most likely to pay a higher tax rate on those taxable investments than they will. All right, I'll say that again. Yes, it's possible that by drawing on your IRA funds, you could pay a lower rate than your children would, and at the same time avoiding a higher tax rate than your children would by leaving the taxable funds alone. This type of income planning doesn't just affect ordinary income and capital gains rates either. Okay, how about state income tax rates and exemptions? All right, New York State, for example, if you're 59 and a half years or older, the first $20,000 you draw from your IRA is exempt from New York State income. And if you didn't take money out of your IRA plan this year, and let's say you need to pull $40,000 next year, all else being the same, wouldn't it make more sense to take $20,000 in December and another $20,000 in January? At a 6.45% rate, that one change moves $1,290 from New York State Tax Department's account to yours. Where you fall along that income tax spectrum affects the taxes you pay on Social Security benefits, Medicare surcharges, subsidies for health insurance premiums, and property taxes. It affects phase-outs of deductions and so much more. And these are all opportunities for you to keep more dollars in your balance sheet if planned out properly. I mean, I tell you, income planning is some of the most exciting stuff out there. There really is so much that you can do to positively affect what you and your family keep versus what you pay in taxes. So who can help with this stuff? I can. So come visit me at www.retirementtheory.com or send me an email at mike@retirementtheory.com. Did you click subscribe on this video or follow me on Facebook? I think that you should. You'll continue to see videos like these on everything retirement planning. Once again, thank you for joining me. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.